Hello bookish friends, welcome and welcome back to my channel. My name is Drew and this is Drew's Ambitious Reading. And for today's video I am very excited to come at you with a new video today. Today's going to be my top 24 books in 2024. We are finally here filming our top 24 and I'm sorry this is coming up super late. I had a hard time figuring out what my top 24 is. But I had an amazing reading year in 2024. I've read 130 books and 60 of those were 5-star reads. So I had to narrow it down from 60 to 24. Every year I make this video and it's always so fun to see everybody's favorite throughout the year. So this is every single book I've rated 5 stars. We're going to be using my laptop today to help me out because your boy did not make a list. Well, I made a list last night, but your boy will not remember every single title. There's a couple books that I can't find because I think they were either library books or they were just books I don't know where they're at. They could be in the stack, who knows. But there's a couple library books that I wanted to talk about before showing you the rest of the book because knowing me, I'll probably forget. So the first one out of the library books that was a 5-star read for me this year was Dawnbreaker by Jody Meadows. This is the second final book in the Salvation Cycle duology, I think is what the series name is. I read book 1 in 2023, absolutely loved it, had to wait a little bit for the sequel, and the wait was worth the wait. I read this in like 2 to 3 days. I remember reading the ending at work and I was like, what the heck is that ending? But I also like wrapped up nicely, you know. It's one of those duology where I wish both books were out at the same time and I didn't have to wait for book 2, but nonetheless it's a 5-star read. Will it make it to my top 24? Who knows. Another book that I had was In Deeper Waters by F.T. Lukens. I know I own this book because I got it as a birthday gift one year from my friend Lori. This was my friend Lori's favorite, and this is actually a favorite read of mine as well. This one's definitely in my top 24. You'll see this later on in the video. I know I own it, but I just can't find my copy. Maybe it will be in my stack. Then I have... Where's that book? Is it in my stack? I should really just go through my stack and see which ones are already here. Let's see if there's any more library books before I go on. Oh yeah, The Girl Who Fell from the Sea by Molly Knox Ostrich, I think is the author's name. This is a queer graphic novel that was really fun. I gave that 5-star, obviously, because it's on my list. But yeah, let's just go through every single book that I gave 5 stars to, and then I'll talk about my top 24. Because maybe some of the books I'm thinking of are in the stack. So, I do have a couple honorable mentions. So, I have one that I don't know where it's at, and that is The 7-Year Slip by Ashley Poston. This is a adult contemporary romance novel, and it's about our main character who gets this apartment from her late aunt, and when she goes to this apartment, she's 7 years in her future and 7 years in her past, and she finds this man who is a chef and she falls in love with him. It was very cute, very fun. Next I have as honorable mention is A Feather So Black by Lyra Celine. This is the author's adult fantasy debut novel, and this was so fun to read. I read this in like 2 to 3 days, and I read this while working as well, which I probably shouldn't be, but it was just such a fun fantasy read, and I have book 2 literally right in front of me. So hopefully I will read book 2 in 2025, and I will absolutely love book 2. This had a huge cliffhanger, and I'm mad about the cliffhanger, so I'm so happy to have book 2 in my hands. And then my last honorable mention for the list is Only a Monster by Vanessa Lynn. I read this at the very end of the year for Books and Lala's Buzzword, because for the month of November, their buzzword was only, and so I was like, this is the only book that I know that has that word in it, and I was so happy I read this, because this is a fun first book and a debut novel as well. So this is from Owl Crate. I got the beautiful edition from Owl Crate, and I'm so happy I read it because I really did enjoy it. I enjoyed it enough to read the sequel, so that's exciting. The only bad thing is, now that I read books 1 and 2, I have to wait like 8 months for book 3. Book 3 doesn't come out till August of this year, so hopefully I'll remember stuff by then. Knowing me, probably not. Okay, let's go through the list. This is in no particular order. This is every single book that I gave 5 stars to. So, the first one on the actual list I have here is The Scarlet Veil by Shelley Mahern. Annotated this, but I read this with my friend Sam. Books 2 and 3 of the Amari series by B.B. Alliston. Amari and the Great Games and Amari and the Despicable Wonders. Winston Chu versus the Whimsies by Stacey Lee. Zara, Guardians of Dawn, Book 1 by S.J. Jones. A Cool Unfaded Light by Ashley Shuttleworth. A Tempest of Tea by Hafasa Falazier. The Nightmare Before Christmas by Sarah Rosh. The Merriest Misters by Timothy Jablonski. This was my December Queer Reads book club pick. My goodness, my words. Never a Hero by Vanessa Lynn. Sally's Lament by Mary Mancusi. Bloodguard by C.C. Robinson. Oh my goodness, this hurts my feelings. The Good Girl Guide to Murder trilogy by Holly Jackson. The Prisoner Throne by Holly Black. I almost said Holly Jackson again. Children of Anguish and Anarchy by Tomi Adeyemi. Beasts of Ruin and Beasts of War by Ayana Gray. Books 2 and 3 of the Beasts of Prey trilogy. I love these covers. Ruthless Vows by Rebecca Ross. Annotated this one and loved it. So Let Them Burn by Camila Cole. The Encanto's Curse by Melissa De La Cruz. A Curse for True Love by Stephanie Garber. House of Marion, and also Shadows of Pearl, wherever that is. That's on this list. Sorry for the squeaky chair. The Buried and the Bound by Rochelle Hansen. What the River Knows by Isabel Ibanez. Heartless Hunter by Christine Cilarelli. One Dark Window by Rachel Gilligill. Dark Star Burning and Ashes Fall White by Amelia Wenzhou. Stars and Smokes by Marie Lu. Path of Vengeance by Cavan Scott, one of the High Republic novels. Here is Shadow of Pearls, like I was talking about earlier today. Reckless by Lauren Roberts. Yes, I'm shocked this was a 5-star read for me as well. Blood Debts by Terry J. Benton Walker. Middle of the Night by Riley Sager. Don't Let the Forest In by C.G. Drews. Ooh, heavy books. A Shadow Crown by Melissa Blair. Defend the Dawn and Destroy the Day. Fun fact, Defend the Dawn was my first book I've read in 2024. So both of these were 5-star reads. Obviously, it's in this video. Masquerade of the Heart by Katie Rose Poole. Ghostsmith by Nikki Preto. Heavy book Fatebreaker by Victoria Aveyard. Vengeance of the Pirate Queen by Teresa Levenseller. I actually got to meet Teresa last year. That was really fun. The Eternal Ones by Naomi Naomi Forna. I almost said Novak. Wrong author. To Gaze Upon a Wicked God by Molly X. Chain. Fate Be Changed by Farhan Rokin. Getting down to the final books that we have Every Time You Hear That Song by Jenna Voyes. Gilded by Marissa Meyer. One book that I can't find but I know is a 5-star read for me this year, and that was Trust of the Emerald Sea by Brandon Sanderson. Love this one. I can't wait to continue that series. Next is All This Twisted Glory by Tahira Mafi. Then we have The Scarlet Alchemist by Kylie Lee Baker. What a fun first book of a series. And then 2 books by the same author that I really loved are Happy Place and Funny Story, both by Emily Henry. So those are all the books that I gave 5 stars this year. I feel like that's more than 60, but we shall see. Future me can put like a little timer on the bottom of the screen. But now I'm going to go fix this stack and make my top 24. I made a list last night, so let me look at that list real quick and I'll be right back. And we're back. So I narrowed it down from 60 books down to 24. This is my top 24, starting at the number 24 slot and going all the way down to my top 5. So I've already talked about my honorable mentions and books that I don't own in my last clip. So let's talk about the actual list of top 24 in 2024. I'm so excited that I'm filming this video. Let's hope I can actually edit and put this up, because I remember last year when I went to go edit it, I got erased on my computer. So cross fingers that doesn't happen this year. But anyways, let's jump into my list. This was so hard to narrow it down because there's so many like sequels and series I wrapped up last year, and it was just hard to narrow it down. So this is my top 24. I'm sorry if these books aren't your favorite. And if they are, let me know which ones we have similar. I'm very excited to talk about my top 10. So let's jump into the list. At number 24, we have a series finale, and that is Fatebreaker by Victoria Aveyard. This is the 3rd and final book of the Realmbreaker trilogy, which I read all of them before, obviously, and I really enjoyed this whole trilogy as a whole. I put Fatebreaker at number 24 because although this did make me cry, I just don't see the impact to me rereading this trilogy because the wait in between each book was so long and I kind of forgot some information, especially the wait between book 2 and book 3. But nonetheless, I really enjoyed this. If you're a big fan of the Lord of the Rings trilogy, you will definitely love this trilogy. It's perfect for fans of Lord of the Rings and high stake fantasy novels. So I feel like you would definitely love it if you love that. I had all the feels while reading this book. Although this was a chunky read, I think this was like my last read in the month of October. So I was really happy that this made it onto my top 24 list. But yeah, really great sequel. I cried a lot in here. My heart got ripped out of my chest multiple times. I've been stabbed in the back by Victoria. So I'm really curious to see what her new series is going to be about, and I can't wait to see what it is. Coming in at number 23 is a book that I still haven't taken my stickers off, and that is Zara by S.J. Jones. This is book 1 of the Guardians of Dawn. I almost said duology. Nope. It's a 4-book series. I've read book 1. This was my first book by the author, so I was really happy. And hey, look, we're actually matching. Anyways, this is the first book of a 4-book series. It was a fun sci-fi / fantasy novel, more sci-fi than fantasy. There was a romance in here that I was rooting for throughout the whole novel, and they actually ended up together, which is so fun. I did do a reading vlog of this. I can't remember where in the month I read this in, but if editing me can remember, we're going to put that up above or down in the description box below. Anyways, Zara was a fun, snarky character. She was one that was like kind of stubborn and didn't want to listen. So yeah, it's Guardians of Dawn. So if you love like Guardian of the Galaxy and like any sci-fi novels, really, I think you will love this. It has a fun cast. The magic system was interesting, and I kind of remember most of the book, but not really at the same time. I just remember having a reaction at the end of this book, and that's what makes it a 5-star read for me. Coming in at 22? Yes. Coming in at number 22 is Reckless by Lauren Roberts. This is a sequel and second installment of the Powerless trilogy. I've really enjoyed this one. This one, again, another 5-star read. The reason why this one is on here and not the first book is because although I did buddy read all 3 books, including the novella that's out, I buddy read all 3 books with my friend Heather, and having somebody to buddy read with is so fun. I buddy read this, and I was the first one to finish for the first time, and my reaction was on camera, and I was so happy I got it on camera because the twist at the end of this one, holy shit. I did not see that twist coming. I'm very scared for Fearless, which is the 3rd installment, and it's the finale too. So hopefully my characters and my cinnamon roll character is okay. If you know, you know. It was just a fun read. I know it's a very like copycat of Hunger Games almost, but it was such a fun read, and these are easy to read in like 1 to 2 sittings if you want to. I feel like I don't really need to talk too much about this trilogy because I feel like everybody and their mother is reading this one, and I'm very eager to see what happens in Fearless, but also scared because I don't want to wrap up the trilogy so soon. Coming in at the number 21 slot is a series that I've started this year, and I'm dying for book 3, and we actually just got the cover for it, and it's so stunning, and that is House of Marion by J.L. and Shadows of Pearl by J.L., obviously. This is book 1 and book 2 of the House of Marion series. I don't know what the actual series name is. I'm just going to call it House of Marion. This is such a fun series that Penguin Teen introduced to me. They actually sent me the hardcover of book 1 last year, and I just never got around to reading it, even though it was a book that I knew I was going to love because of the magic system. This has ball gowns and betrayal, magic and mystery, and decades and darkness. So very excited to see what happens in the finale of this trilogy. But this cliffhanger though, oh my goodness. Shadow of Pearls is like a fantastic sequel. It made me cry. This one had a lot of twists and turns. This one technically shouldn't really be on my favorite because it wasn't my favorite of this series. But I'm putting these 2 books together because hey, it's my channel, you know. But the cover for book 3 is so stunning. I'll put a picture here on the screen. It fits so well with the other 2 books. I love the red writing on the book. So hopefully I love book 3 later this year. I think it comes out in like October. So hopefully we can reread these in the fall time because I feel like these are perfect books to read in the fall. I started reading book 1 in late August in anticipation of book 2 coming out in September of this year, and boy was that such a fun read. And also Penguin Teen themselves did a read along for both books, so I joined in the read alongs finally, and I think that's why these books are memorable for me, and it made my enjoyment more because I've had some people to talk to with in a little group chat on Instagram, and that was so fun too. And even the author herself was in the group chat. So yeah, very excited to see what happens in book 3, but also very scared, and also don't want to wrap up another trilogy. Does anybody else do that with their series where they read the first 2 and then they don't want to wrap up the 3rd one? Let me know in the comments below. Coming in at number 20 is my last 5-star read of 2024. This one I buddy read with my friend Taylor, and we both had the same reaction to this book, and I'm so mad of how this one ended too. I need book 2 like right now. That is Bloodguard by C.C. Robinson. This is a adult fantasy, it's actually an adult romantasy more than fantasy, so there was a bit of sexy time in there, which I did not love. But my friend Taylor warned me about that, so I was like kind of prepared for it, you know. I listened to this via audiobook, and the way that this is dual narrative, and there was 2 different audiobook narrators for it, obviously, but the male narrator voice just made me want to keep reading for some reason. I don't know why. But yeah, I really enjoyed this, and it's in my top 20, obviously, so hopefully you guys can check this out and it gets more hyped. It's Vikings and Gladiator mixed in a competition setting. Do I need to say more? And yeah, it's a new to me author, so I'm very shocked that this is on my list, to be honest, because I was nervous I wasn't going to love it, but in the end, we loved it. So that's it for me for now. I'm going to go to church now before I show up late, and I'll talk to you guys later. Hope you all have a great day or night or not. The choice is yours, and I'll talk to you guys later. Bye. You'll have the nerve to deck the halls that we once walked through. Oh, hi. Hi friends, how are you all doing today? I hope you all are having a great Monday. Today is Monday, the 27th of January. I am here to finish the last half of my filming for my top 24 in 2024. But before we jump into the actual list again, I forgot to mention a whole entire series that I binge read in 2024 that I really enjoyed. Gave all 3 books a 5 stars. Forgot to mention them in my beginning video when I was talking about honorable mentions, and in like the video part of showing you all the 5-star reads. But that is the entire Lightlark series by Alex Astor. I know some of these books can be like cheesy and probably repetitive for some people, but I've really enjoyed each and every one of these. I'm so excited to see where we go with the rest of the series, because I know this trilogy is not completed like I thought it was. But I'm excited to see where we go in book 4. Hopefully Alex will announce the title and cover of it soon. But those who don't know, book 1 is Lightlark by Alex Astor. Beautiful edition I got from Barnes & Noble. Nightbane and Skyshade. I think Nightbane is my favorite just because we got more detailed and more of a love triangle. And then Skyshade actually made me mad. Like, the ending made me so mad that I have to wait a whole year, maybe 2 years for book 4. Ooh, I'm so scared and so nervous. But I can't wait to see where we go in this series. So hopefully I'll love book 4 whenever that is released. So let's jump back into my list. We talked about 24, 23, 22, 2019. So number 18 on my list is a series finale, and I'm sad to say goodbye to this world, because this author also put my feelings through the ringer, and that is The Eternal Ones by Naomi Forna. This is the 3rd and final book of the Deathless trilogy, I think is what it's called. This is very queer and very diverse, and it's BIPOC author as well, which is amazing. This was one of my highly anticipated reads for 2024, and I'm so happy to say that this is on my not only my anticipated reads list, but this is on my favorite list, obviously, which is why we're filming this video. I had a lot of feels. I screamed, I cried, I threw the book across the room when I finished reading this, and I'm so excited to say I might be meeting her soon, and if I am, that'll be so excited. But I can't wait to see what Naomi has in the future. I definitely love this. If you love anything like Children with Blood and Bones, you will definitely love this one. I feel like this one has a lot more heavy topics and a lot more deaths in this one than Children of Blood and Bones did. So beware of that if you don't love death and dying and all that, I guess. But yeah, just check trigger warnings on all these books. I know they're all YA fantasy, but you never know. That was, what, 18? Yeah. Coming in at 17 slot are 2 books by the same author, and that is the 2 Emily Henry books I read. Oh my gosh, we're out of focus. So I have Happy Place and Funny Story. The reason why both of these are on this list is because these are cute, fun adult romance novel. They're quick and easy to read. Both of them had short chapters. They're almost similar to like the storytellings as well. This one was my favorite because this Happy Place takes place in Maine, and I'm from Maine. I have family back east, and so I'm really happy to say I really enjoyed this. It's funny, this one my mom bought for me last year and I never got around to it in 2023. So this is one of her backlist title that made it onto my 2024 list. And then Funny Story came out in 2024. This one came out in April, I want to say, April or May. I remember I bought this the day it came out at Target and I was like, oh, I'm going to read this right away. Nope, I didn't read it until like July or August for the summertime reads. And so I'm so happy I did. Both were fun stories. This one is, if I remember correctly, this one is more of a summertime setting. So it's from Maine on a little cottage core that they have. And they are on a lake house and whatnot. And it's friends to lovers and close quarters again with the tropes. And honestly, it's been a hot minute since I've read both of these books, but I feel like everybody and their mothers have read these already. And if you haven't yet, definitely check them out. I still need to read Book Lovers, and I think that's it. Book Lovers is the only one that I need to read. So should I read that one next? Let me know. Maybe it'll make my favorite list of 2025. The next one on my list are, again, combined because why not? It's easier to combine the series. And so that is the second and third book in the Beasts of Prey trilogy. And so that is Beasts of Ruin and Beasts of War, especially for Beasts of War. Again, another series finale where it's queer, BIPOC, and it's a diverse read as well. Enemies to lovers, found family, war. Literally in the title, war is happening in the third book. I was so scared for this third and final book. Thank you, Penguin Teen, for introducing me this author. They sent me an e-arc of books 1 and 2, but I didn't get approved for book 3, which is so weird that I didn't. But anyways, so excited that I've read this trilogy this year. I actually read Beasts of Ruin as my second read of 2024, and it was a 5-star read, and I knew from the minute I finished it, I wanted book 3. I think I only had to wait like 2 or 3 weeks for book 3 to come out at the time. So very happy that I read book 2 in January. That way I was prepared, or not prepared, for book 3. Because book 3, once I finished it back in like March or something, I cried my eyes out. This is such a sad ending, but yet it's such a satisfying ending, if that makes sense. If you know, you know. It's hard to talk about these sequels without like spoiling the whole series, you know. There's so many twists and turns. I have my reaction to both of these endings on camera, so if I can find them, I will link them up above or down below. But yes, definitely check out this series if you haven't yet. Next on my favorite list, speaking of Children of Blood and Bones, we have Children of Anarchy of... Whoa, oh my god. Children of Anguish and Anarchy by Tomi Adeyemi. This is the third and final installment of this trilogy. Again, another finale that made it onto my list. I didn't want to put so many finales on there where you guys are getting bored of watching this video, so hopefully I didn't. If I did, I'm so sorry. Anyways, this is a fun young adult fantasy series. Again, this is very popular here on the interwebs, so I'm sure everybody and their mothers have read about this. And at the time of me filming, there's been some casting news. They announced the whole entire cast of the Children of Blood and Bones movie, so that's so excited that they're doing the movie. I'm curious of when the actual movie itself will be released, but yeah, they announced the cast for the movie, and seeing the cast, I can now picture them as their characters, and that's just so exciting to see. Hopefully the movie comes out soon, because I really do love this series. But yes, Found Family, Dangerous Quest, Kingdom Burning Down. What more can I say, because this is a popular new release. Next was a book that I was shocked that made it onto my favorite list, and that was What the River Knows by Isabel Ibanez. This is the first book of the duology. I read books 1 and 2 in 2024. I didn't love book 2 as much because it was some slower pace in book 2, but I've enjoyed the series overall, and I put book 1 on my list. Book 1 is a first of a series, obviously. It's set in Egypt with all the Egyptian mythology, and it's almost like a road trip type of book, if you know. It's kind of hard to explain what books are about for me, so I'll just tell you what it says on the summary. It says, Inez belongs to the glittering upper society of the 19th century Buenos Aires, and like the rest of the world, the town is steeped in old world magic that has been largely left behind or forgotten. So she finds out that in the beginning of this book that both of her parents are dead, but she's on a quest to see if that's true, if it is, if it's not. So she's on this quest. She meets this sweet cinnamon character named Wit, and he interacts with Inez, and they may or may not fall in love. You'll just have to read the series to find out if they fall in love or not. There's a lot of twists and turns, a lot of backstabbing, and I'm excited to see what Isabel has in store for the rest of the series. I mean, I know it's only a duology, but like for the rest of the book world, to see what she has coming out. Next book on my list I have is a YA contemporary book that I read for my book club this year. Penguin Teen sent me not only an e-arc of this and a physical arc, but I was lucky enough to interview this author this past summer, and that was Every Time You Hear That Song by Jenna Voyes. This is a new to me author. I thought this was her debut novel, but I was actually really wrong. This is her second novel that she has written. Sorry if you can hear that motorcycle, it's irritating. Anyways, this is the second novel that she ever written. The first one was Made of Stars, which I have seen going around the interwebs, but I haven't read it myself. I do own a copy, but I didn't know the two authors were the same ones, you know? Anyways, this one, if you're a big fan of like Taylor Swift and Taylor Swift references, you know you'll love this one. This follows our main character, Deckel Castle, who's this famous country singer who recently passed away in the beginning of this book. And the very first scene was so sad. The rest of the book was so sad. We follow our main character, Darren, who she's a big fan of this artist. And she wants to try and uncover the little like secrets that Deckel left behind. There's a scavenger hunt that they have to do. And Darren goes on this road trip with her best friend. Why is my voice sounding like this? Oh my gosh. But it's a fun road trip, cute summertime read, full of diverse characters. And I'm so excited that I was able to meet Jenna in person, well, on Instagram, and hopefully I can meet her in person soon. Her next novel is Say a Little Prayer, and that comes out in April of this year, so I'm so excited to see what that one's all about. But yeah, fun road trip, cute romance between the female main characters, and it's very queer, I guess. That's all I can say. I hate doing summaries just because I don't know how to sum up a book, but a lot of these books that are on my favorite list, I have reading vlogs for, so you can always go back and look at the reading vlogs. The next two books on my favorite list, ooh, I can't even pick them up. The next two books on my reading list, or favorite list I have, are a new to me author, and this isn't the author's debut novel, but this one was getting popular because of Book Talk, and my friend Ryan over on Book Talk, I don't know if he has a YouTube channel, but he recently read book 1 and absolutely loved it, and then he bought book 2 immediately, and that's exactly what I did. And so that is Blood Debts by Terry J. Benton Walker. This is a first book of a new series, so not a sequel, not a finale, a first book of the series. This is set in New Orleans, which is so fun because I had never been, but it made me want to go to New Orleans. And this has gods, magic, and all that. It deals with twins, which is interesting because I don't think I've read a story about twins yet. So that was a fun way to learn about twins and see how they are. And then they have like these magical abilities they use. They come from a family of witches, and these witches have to hide themselves because they don't want to get caught. It's set in New Orleans. There's a lot more to it. There's a big bad person that they're trying to kill, and if they can't, the world is going to end for themselves. So it's so fun. I still haven't read Blood Justice, which is book 2. I haven't read book 2 yet, but hopefully I will in 2025. But just know I read this in like 2 or 3 days, and it was so hard to put down, and it's very queer as well. I love the male couple that we had in here. If you know, you know, and I'm really curious to see what will happen in book 2. The next book that made it onto my list is an adult thriller, which I'm shocked myself as well, but also not, because this is an auto-buy author for me, and that is Riley Sager's new book. I mean, you had to see it coming, haven't you? This is a book that is super polarizing here on the interwebs. Some people hate it, some people love it, and as you can see, it's on my favorite list. So I've really enjoyed this one. This one was actually like my newest favorite from him. My favorite at the time before reading this one was Home Before Dark, but I think this one might beat the cake. This is a first book by Riley Sager that is from a male's perspective. So all his books are standalone novels, and this one is set in a haunted house, and I've come to realize that I love a good haunted house setting, but I don't think I could ever survive a haunted house, you know? This has dual timelines as well, so I was nervous about that aspect because sometimes with dual timelines I can't really comprehend well. But Riley Sager did it the best, and I read this during Summerween that Gabby from Gabby Reads here on book 2. I'll leave her channel down below. She did Summerween in like July around the time of this release, and I read it for Summerween, and I read it in the dark as well, and I think that was just like the perfect atmosphere to read it. And I also read this while doing readings for friends, so that was so fun to do, and I love seeing everybody's different opinions on this universe. So hopefully you guys love it. If you don't, you have to let me know and tell me why without spoiling. But yeah, I feel like this is another popular new release that everybody knows what this one's about, and it was just a fun and interesting read for this one. What is that? Is that 10? Are we in our top 10? Yeah, we're in our top 10, you guys. Yay! So, in our top 10... Sorry about that. I had to change the battery out again, which is like the second time I did that this weekend. Anyways, I am here to film the top 10 portion. So let's jump into our top 10. Coming in at the number 10 slot is a new favorite series of mine. And so we have Defend the Dawn and Destroy the Day by Bridget Kemmerer. This is a YA fantasy that is a spin-off series to A Curse So Dark and Lonely trilogy. We follow some of the side characters from that series, but those side characters in that first series is now main characters in this series, if that makes sense. So I would say definitely read the A Curse So Dark and Lonely series before reading Defy the Night trilogy. I absolutely ate this trilogy up. I read book 2 as my first book of 2024, and it was just like a fantastic way to start off the new year. And I'm so mad that I read this so early because I had to wait a couple weeks for book 3. And again, another series finale, very chunky, but I flew through it. Both of these books have short chapters and diverse characters, and it was just so fun to read. I love this world. I hope you pick them up, and I'm excited for her new series that she has coming in 2025, and hopefully I'll love that one. So this is number 10. Number 9 slot is A Cruel and Fated Light by Ashley Shuttleworth. This is a sequel to A Dark and Hollow Star, I believe. Yes, A Dark and Hollow Star. This is another diverse read for me, and it was so fun to read. The only thing that I didn't love was how long this book was, because it took me forever to get to this one. And I didn't pick up book 3 right after that because book 3 is also chunky. But just know I'm going to try and wrap up the series in 2025. It's on my series list, and hopefully you'll see that video soon. But yeah, this is number 9 slot. It was so good. I enjoyed it immensely. I won't reread it just because of how chunky this series is, but I think once I get through it to read it for the first time, I'll definitely want to reread it, if that makes sense. So fun sequel. I read the series because of my friend Melanie. She read book 1 the year she read it, and she loved it, and she recommended it to me, and she said I would love it, and she was obviously completely correct. So hopefully I'll continue on with the series in 2025. Coming in at the number 8 slot is one of my favorite new series, and it's a series everybody and their mother knows about, so I won't talk too much about it, but that is The Good Girl's Guide to Murder Trilogy. I love this series so much that I'm literally recommending it to all my friends and families. Like, I literally recommended it to my friend Liz, who you guys know and love on this channel, and she's currently reading book 2, and she read book 1, gave it 5 stars, and she's reading book 2 and she's halfway through, so I'm excited to see what she thinks about the rest of the trilogy. It's so fun to have somebody in real life to talk about this trilogy, and I still haven't watched the TV show adaptation because I'm so nervous that I won't love the adaptation, but I love this series. This series, if you don't know what it's about, it follows our main character named Pip, and there's a cold case that's in her hometown that she's trying to help the police solve, and she has a podcast trying to help the police solve the case. It's a podcast element, and I found that those books are my favorites every time I read about them. The audiobook narrator was stunning. It was full cast, and it had sound effects and everything. It was just an immersive read. I binged through this series. I literally bought these 2 at my local bookstore, and I was so happy that I did because it ended up being a favorite series of mine, and my favorite couple got together. If you know, you know. But also, the finale hurt my heart. It hurt my heart. But yes, such a great trilogy. If you haven't checked the series out yet, what are you doing with your life? Go read the young adult thriller. It's so fun. Next, coming in at number 7 is a first book of a series. I'm dying for book 2. Book 2 is a highly anticipated read for the fall season of 2025. The cover actually just got revealed, and it's so stunning, and that is A Tempest of Tea by Hafsa Falazieh. This is the first book of a new young adult fantasy duology. This is about vampires and werewolves. If you love Six of Crows and you love that high setting, but you want it more diverse and more queer, definitely check out this one. This is so fun. It's super short too, so it's not that big of a fantasy book. I remember reading the ending of this book at work, and I was like, what the hell? Where airs book 2? Like, what? It was just... It's such a shocking ending that you didn't see coming, and that's honestly why it made it into my top 10 of 2024. So I'm excited but nervous for the finale of this duology. Hopefully none of my favorite characters dies in the sequel. I don't know. Will they? I hope not. Next is another series finale. I know, a lot of series finales on this list, and I'm so sorry about that, but that is A Curse for True Love by Stephanie Garber. This is the 3rd and final book in the Once Upon a Broken Heart trilogy. So as you can see, I completed another series this year. 2024 was a really good reading year. I can tell you guys that right now. This, I can't really say too much about it, but if you read books 1 and 2, you know where we pick up from book 2, right after book 2 actually, which was nice because I read books 2 and 3 back to back this year, so that was really fun to do it. And I got this beautiful edition from Owl Crate, so thank you so much, Owl Crate. And I have an Owl Crate book in my top 10. Yay! Coming in at number 6, I think. Yeah, number 6 slot is another sequel. So sorry. But that is All This Twisted Glory by Tara Mafi. I mean, you guys had to see it coming with this one as well. Like, Really? I absolutely love the series. This is another trilogy, or not trilogy. This is another series that I recommend to all my friends who are into fantasy and want to try fantasy, because it's such a low stake fantasy when you read book 1. But books 2 and 3 are like high stakes, obviously, because they're follow-ups to This Woven Kingdom. Love the series. Dying for book 4, literally. And I love how this series incorporates dragons in here as well. And the twists and turns in here had me going crazy. I remember reading this on my Hawaii trip, and every time I put it down, I was so mad at myself because I always got to like a good scene, you know? It was so fun. Twists and turns are everywhere in the series, and I'm curious to see what color the cover of book 4 will be, because we had yellow, pink, and this purple cover. So I'm curious to see where we go for book 4. I'm definitely gonna have to reread this universe before reading book 4 though, because it has been a while since I read book 3. I read book 3 back in March of last year. Coming in at the Coming in at the number 4 slot is a series finale, and this one I also had a chance to do an author interview with, and that is Amelia Wenzel's series. It's the Song of Silver, Flame Like Night is what the first book is called. This one is Dark Star Burning, Ashes Fall White. Again, I can't really talk too much about this one. Just know all my thoughts and feelings are on one of these vlogs on my channel. I'm so sorry. But it was such a fun sequel, and I'm curious to see where the author goes next with her new book that she has coming out this year. I did an author interview, and so having an author interview really makes my books favorites for me, just because it's always so fun to see how the author comes up with this universe, and I can't wait to see what her new book and her new book series has in store for us. Number 3 slot, I have So Let Them Burn by Camilla Cole. This is a first book of a new fantasy duology. It's sapphic and it deals with dragons. Do I need to say more? I really loved this one. I read this early on in the year, and ever since I read it, I couldn't stop talking about it. I couldn't stop thinking about it. It was so fun. I know book 2 is coming out next month in February, so hopefully I love book 2. I know it's only going to be a duology, sadly, but I'm curious to see where we go in the sequel, because book 1 left on a huge cliffhanger, and I'm mad about that cliffhanger. So hopefully it wraps up nicely, or not so nicely. Who knows? I'm scared. I'm literally scared to read all my sequels for 2025. Coming in at my number 2 slot is Ruthless Vows by Rebecca Ross. This is the sequel and finale in the Letters of Enchantment duology. I almost said trilogy. Wow. This is a book that everybody and their mothers have read this one. I have literally, with this series, I have 2 copies of the same books. I have the beautiful Book of the Month editions, and then I have the beautiful Owl Crate editions. That's how much I love this universe. I annotated this series as well. I don't know if you can see the blue and the whites, probably not, but I annotated it with blue and white to match the cover. It was so fun annotating it. This ending ripped my heart out. It won the Goodreads Choice Awards, and it's so deserving. It's so not fun. It actually hurt my heart, and it ripped out, it stomped all over it, and I can't believe that Rebecca Ross did that with her ending. But also it wrapped up so nicely at the end. You know? If you know, you know. If you don't know, pick up the series. And she has a new book coming out in this universe of the Ruthless Vows universe. And I'm curious to see what that one is going to be about. And my number 1 book of 2024 is, drumroll please, Heartless Hunter by Christina Solarelli. This is a first book in a new young adult duology, and book 2 is called Rebel Witch, and it's coming out in February of next month. And I'm dying to see where we go in book 2. I read this book because of Owl Crate, and honestly, if it wasn't for this beautiful Owl Crate edition that I have, I probably would not have picked it up. Maybe I will, because it did got popular over on Book Talk, but I've immensely enjoyed this one. This was a fun cat and mouse trope, and it's enemies to lovers, one bed trope. If you know, you know. It's just so fun. There's a lot of like kingdom burning and whatnot, and I don't know, it's just hard to talk about my favorite, but when I finished this book, I knew immediately that this was a 5-star read, and I knew immediately this will make it into my top 10. I didn't know it will be number 1 until I narrowed my 60 books that I rated 5 stars down to top 24 until like 3 days ago that this was number 1. And the reason why is because I couldn't stop thinking about it. I keep recommending this book to everybody. So around the beginning of January, when everybody was doing their 12 Friends rec, this one and this Woven Kingdom series is like 2 books that I kept recommending to everybody. And if that's you watching right now that I recommended this book to, I hope you read it and I hope you love it. And I'm dying to see what happens in book 2. But again, I'm scared for the finale. If you love a cat and mouse trope, if you love a hunter falls for the huntress, if you know, you know. It's a competition setting as well, which is always a fun read. So yeah, there you have it. That is everything for my top 24. Sorry this video is so long and feels so chaotic. Hopefully it's not. But I will talk to you guys later. If you like this video, please give me a big thumbs up. Hit that subscribe button, turn your notification on so you don't miss any new videos coming from me soon. And without further ado, let me know what's in your top 5. Maybe top number 1 book as well. Let me know down in the comments and I'll chat with you guys later. Bye guys.